You're going to see that they're both 30 years old, which in this day and age stamps them as relatively young heavyweight title contenders. Height, they're about equal, but Johnson with a half-inch advantage at 6'2.5". Yes. 1-inch reach advantage for the rangier Johnson, who seems to have better foot movement. They weighed in at 233 Ruiz and 238. That's about the heavyweight norm these days. Rules of the bout with our unofficial ringside scorer, Harold Letterman.
The John Ruiz-Kirk Johnson fight is scheduled for 12 rounds using the unified rules of the Association of Boxing Commissions. There is no 3 knockdown rule. Only the referee can stop the fight in case a cut is caused by an accidental headbutt. We go to the scorecards after 4 rounds have been completed, and you cannot be saved by the bell in any round, including the 12th and final round. Jim.
From North Preston, Nova Scotia.
North Preston is a little town outside of a bigger city in Nova Scotia.
Halifax.
Peopled by many black people who came up before the Civil War and earlier from the West Indies and from Africa. Very proud of his heritage. Looking forward to this day for a long time. Something that could make him a very well-known heavyweight and put him up in a class with Vladimir Klitschko as the chief challenger for Lennox Lewis.
He's been brought along very carefully, some say protected very carefully. A gradual rise to this position, trained by one-time welterweight punching star Curtis Coates down in Texas, where he spent much of the past several years. Here's a closer look at Kirk Johnson.
Kirk Johnson just received a $1 million+ bonus to sign with his new promoters, Dino and Lou Duva, because he was a free agent, free from promoter Cedric Kushner. But there is the curse of Kushner. Both Hasim Rahman and Shane Mosley left Kushner, and neither one has won a fight yet. But to buck up his spirits, he has been studying tapes of his fans. A brother took tapes of 50 or 60 townspeople from Nova Scotia to wish him good wishes for this fight.
Johnny Ruiz, the quiet man, whom Don King points out is the first Latino fighter ever to wear a heavyweight title belt, who's been called the quiet man from Massachusetts. No longer lives in Puerto Rico, no longer lives in Massachusetts. He moved here to Las Vegas a few months ago.
The last time I remember a fighter running to the ring, it was Buster Douglas in Tokyo when he was going to fight Mike Tyson, and we saw how Douglas performed.
Hey, listen, even Tyson wore a robe with a hole cut out over his head. Ruiz enters the ring, no robe, no towel, just meat, ready to go. Where's the belt for round 1? Here's a closer look.
The no respect theme is a part of the narrative of John Ruiz and may remain. If he wins tonight, he will do a lot to change that narrative. But for now, despite his belt, Ring Magazine ranks him 8th, USA Today 9th among all the heavyweights in the world. And the odds makers think that Johnson, without his belt, without having fought Holyfield once, much less 3 times, is the favorite.
Interesting that fans bet Johnson to such a clear favorite's role. Experts at ringside seem evenly divided about who will win the fight. Let's go to Jimmy Lennon Jr. for the official introduction.
Ladies and gentlemen, a very good evening to you, and once again we welcome you to the Mandalay Bay Resort and Casino here in Las Vegas, Nevada. It is time for the featured bout of the evening, and it's all brought to you by Don King Productions in association with Duva Boxing, the Mandalay Bay and CM Exchange, the world champion of metals exchanges. This bout coming away is sanctioned by the World Boxing Association Commission, the President Gilberto Mendoza, Supervisor Enzo Bagnariol, along with the Nevada State Athletic Commission. The Chairman is Dr. Luther Mack. Commissioners, Dr. Tony Alamo, Skip Avenino Jr., John Bailey, and Dr. Flip Homansky, with the Executive Director, Mark Ratner. Introducing to you all 3 judges tonight, all residing in Las Vegas, Nevada. Patricia Jarman Manning, Dave Moretti, and Jerry Roth. And the third man to the ring, the referee in charge of this bout. He is working in this, his 150th world title bout, fair but firm, Joe Cortez. All right, fans, here we go with our main event of the evening. 12 rounds of boxing for the WBA Heavyweight Championship of the World. And now, ladies and gentlemen in attendance and boxing fans joining us around the world, live from the Mandalay Bay in Las Vegas, it's fight time! Introducing to you first the challenger. On my left, he is fighting out of the blue corner, wearing white trunks, hailing from North Preston, Nova Scotia in Canada. He weighed in at 238 pounds. He is undefeated in his campaign to the ring with 32 wins, no losses, 1 draw with 23 wins coming by way of knockout. Rated the #1 heavyweight contender by the WBA. Ladies and gentlemen, introducing the undefeated challenger, Kirk Bubba Johnson. And his opponent across the ring, the defending champion. On my right, fighting out of the red corner, wearing black trunks, representing Sabana Grande, Puerto Rico, and fighting out of Chelsea, Massachusetts. His weight, 233 pounds. His record, 37 wins, 4 losses, 1 draw with 27 wins coming by way of knockout. Here is boxing's first Latino heavyweight champion tonight, making the second defense of his title, introducing the WBA heavyweight champion of the world, known as the Quiet Man, introducing John Ruiz. Once again, here's our referee in charge, Joe Cortez, now to give instructions.
All right, Kirk.
Be at control, John. Look.
All right, gentlemen. All right, take it easy here. Gentlemen, we went over the rules in the dressing room. I expect a good, clean fight. Obey my commands at all times. Give me good sportsmanlike conduct. Remember, guys, I'm fair, but I'm firm. Touch them up.
Let's go.
Earlier tonight, there wasn't enough electricity in this joint to recharge my cell phone. But after that bantamweight fight, people seem very much into this.
That was a good fight. That was a very good fight, Larry.
3 months ago, he didn't even have a cell phone. Now he's making cell phone recharging jokes. I love the transformation. Round 1, almost anything could happen in this fight.
Well, we've already had 1 more clinch than we had in the last fight.
John Ruiz, almost his entire reputation at this point, built on his 36 rounds with Evander Holyfield. He got a loss, a win, and a draw. The fights were close enough that he could have been 3-0. He could have been 0-3.
But in this fight here, he's coming out very aggressive. He's changed his style compared to when he fought Evander backing up. He's trying to physically, I think, intimidate Johnson.
And Ruiz asking Joe Cortez to warn Johnson about a low blow after the left to the gut.
All right, bring out. Hold it, guys. Hold it. Come here. Hey, come here, let go. I don't want any rough tactics inside, you understand? Let's go.
Ruiz, the aggressor. Interesting because Johnson is seen as a natural counterpuncher. His biggest win over Moskaev, the result of an instinctive counter left hook that dropped Moskaev from the center of the ring flat on his back. Both guys winging shots.
All right, hold on. Hey, come on, what's that glove? What's that glove? Let's go.
Ruiz is doing something that is not his normal style, and when you do that oftentimes, you find yourself making mistakes, getting exhausted a lot quicker than you normally would, because this is not his normal style. He's really trying to bully, and he's not really punching so much. He's trying to just run in with his left shoulder in a manner where he won't get hit and preventing Johnson from getting a chance to land a good punch.
Ruiz hit Johnson with a stiff jab before the previous clinch. Then Johnson tried to get to Ruiz's body before they clinched again.
Ruiz's best punch is his left jab.
Ruiz going down on a low blow. No deduction yet. Now he's going to deduct a point. And if you've been with us before, you know that John Ruiz has 5 minutes to recover from this, should he choose to take that time.
And we should remember that the only blemish on Johnson's record when he fought Al Cole was caused by 3 one-point deductions.
All for low blows.
For low blows.
You know, according to the rules, you cannot win a fight from being hit with a low blow, though. I think you have 5 minutes, and that's it. And if you can't continue after that, you lose the fight, I think. I'm not sure, but I know you can't win a fight as a result of being hit with a low blow.
Well, we better bring in Harold to give us the clarity on that one, to be sure, because I think we just confused the issue. Harold, what is the ruling?
Jim Emanuel is right. You can take up to 5 minutes to recover from a low blow. After that, if you can't continue, you lose by abandonment. John Ruiz had to continue.
When they showed a replay of the low blow on a big screen here in the arena, Kirk Johnson watched it from the neutral corner where he was waiting for Ruiz to recover, and we saw Johnson nod his head as if to say, yep, I deserved that point deduction. Location of the blow was unquestionable. There's Ruiz's strategy, hit and grab. And it was Ruiz who got in a body shot. Last meaningful blow of a rough first round.
Johnson had better be prepared to have Ruiz's left shoulder in his face all night long, because that's the way Ruiz fights. He's going to keep running in and trying to smother him with his left shoulder.
Take a deep breath. Give a spit bucket, Paul. Get the spit bucket, Lou. Okay, take a deep breath, Kirk. Deep breath.
Jab, keeping these men from your chin, come with the right hand. Like you're doing. Give him an angle. You can't stay in front of him. That's all you got to do is move around him, right? Angles, Ronnie. Angles. Like I said, use that jab.
It wasn't deliberate, but it hurt Ruiz.
It's oftentimes when a guy's punching another guy, pushes his elbow down, it almost forces the guy to hit him with a low blow.
CompuBox numbers in round one: Ruiz 15 out of 35, Johnson 13 out of 57.
When we first saw John Ruiz 7 years ago, he looked like a pretty good boxer puncher, but he's turned himself into an awkward, difficult kind of guy to fight, as you see here.
He's trying to be a smother fighter in this particular fight here. If Johnson can step off to his right when Ruiz charges at him, instead of going straight back, he would be much more effective instead of going straight back.
Johnson allowing himself to be hit by Ruiz's jab as Johnny lunged in.
What Johnson is doing is trying to step back and time a right hand as Ruiz bullies him.
But instead, he should just circle to his right and let Ruiz fall off balance completely instead of stepping back.
Johnson begins to use his jab and then circle away. Lateral movement, one of the advantages Johnson expected to have in the fight. Pace slows as Johnson begins to box a little more. Ruiz won't find it as easy to find Kirk Johnson if he continues to circle like this.
Now Ruiz is settling down more to his normal style of fighting.
Interesting as they trade the roles of lead and follow back and forth. Now it's Ruiz who seems to be trying to time a counter as Johnson works his jab. Ruiz hasn't thrown a meaningful punch in a minute. Now he jabs Johnson, and Johnson manages to touch him in the body with the left hand.
That was a left uppercut that just grazed the chin of Ruiz.
Everybody tries to hit Ruiz with a left uppercut because of the way he bends his body when he comes in, bending over to his right. Evander Holyfield tried it all night long also. So far, the most effective punches from both has been the left jabs.
Absolutely. Ruiz hasn't been able to miss with his left jab when he's jumped in. There it is again. And Johnson blows blood out of his nose. This Wednesday, don't miss the premiere of the second season of Hard Knocks. This year, we'll bring you to training camp with America's team, the Dallas Cowboys, for the toughest 6 weeks in sports. Through the challenges of training camp, we'll get up close and personal with the superstars, veterans on the bubble, and free agents just trying to make the cut. Hard Knocks will premiere every Wednesday at 11 o'clock.
Put that right hand like a dynamite. As fast as you control, let it go. Use them legs now. Come on.
Keep them hands up, Johnny.
You already
Back with that hook. Keep your hands up.
The jab is here.
Keep that right hand. He's trying to counter your left hook, too.
His back.
Left, and then circle wide right, okay?
Yeah, win that round.
Yes. But we need to win all these rounds. Come on, let's get this. Let's get this next one. Let's go. Come on, Kirk.
CompuBox numbers through round 2. Each fighter has landed 23 punches. Ruiz only throwing 56, Johnson throwing 104. So it's Ruiz who lands at the higher rate of accuracy. But Johnson has been able to throw more often, more fluidly, and in the second round, he seemed to get his jab and his lateral movement going.
Ruiz is very hard to hit with a clean punch, though. Very, very good defense. Ruiz's left jab, which he jabs and he bends over and uses his shoulder with his jab, and he's very effective. That was his best punch with Evander.
Ruiz hasn't landed much other than a jab since round 1, but he is still landing his jab from time to time. There, Johnson is flush with a 1-2. Finally gets a right hand to Ruiz's chin. As Emmanuel Stewart pointed out, very hard to hit Ruiz with a clean power shot.
Very difficult to hit.
John Ruiz has found an awkward, perhaps not entertaining style that's very effective for him.
Perhaps.
And it's the type of style where you can win fights without really beating a guy, so to say, but you still can win fights because you can occasionally land a jab, land a few punches, smother them, and get away with it.
At the very least, you make the fights hard to score.
Very difficult to score against him.
All 36 rounds of Ruiz Holyfield would leave questions in your mind from a scoring standpoint. There are moments here, though, when Johnson is able to flick the jab and move, flick the jab and move, when it looks like a little bit the way Lennox Lewis has looked against some opponents who didn't have the movement to deal with it.
Ruiz has always fought close fights, even when he wins. I remember the fight when I was working in the corner with Donnell Nicholson when he fought, and Donnell won a split decision. He does just enough to make the fight interesting and contestable.
Ruiz with a total of 4 losses in his career. Sergey Kovacev, the late Russian heavyweight. Donnell Nicholson, as Emmanuel mentioned. Tua. And, of course, the 1 loss to Holyfield. Kirk Johnson is unbeaten, 32-0-1.
Good. You went around. You did go. You got to keep on working there. You got to get. You got to get this jab going in for me. The jab is going, but I need more than you. You know what I'm saying? Okay. Come on. Take a deep breath. Come on.
Don't reach. Hit him, step, and throw it. Step in and over. You understand? Relax. You're doing a good job. Relax.
Keep them hands up, Johnny.
This guy ain't nothing. You're there for him, Johnny. Understand? You just go in there and work. Work your best you can work. That's all you got to do. Keep that jab crack.
A warm weekend in Vegas as you look at the outside view of the spectacular Mandalay Bay Hotel and Casino. We are in the beautiful Mandalay Bay Event Center where John Ruiz defeated Evander Holyfield 2 years ago to win the, or a year and a half ago, I should say, to win the belt that he now carries. Harold, how do you have this fight scored through the first
Okay,
ring?
Jim, 28-28, 1 round each fighter and 1 round even. Jim, in that first round, I thought Kirk Johnson won it. When Joe Cortez took away a point for a low blow, it becomes 9-9. So that was the 1 round even. The second round against Kirk Johnson, he was a lot busier. The third round, I didn't think Kirk Johnson punched it up. Johnny Ruiz scored with the left jab, so he went on a clean punching. Jim, real quickly, the rule on beards, if it can cut your opponent to scratch your opponent, or if it can cushion the blow, it's illegal. Now, you got to look at that Ruiz beard very closely and make your own decision. Obviously, the commission feels it can't scratch Johnson. I wonder.
Ruiz lands his jab. Earlier, he knocked Johnson into the ropes with a clean shot. So the first minute and a half of the round, or the first minute of the round, I should say, has been good to John Ruiz. Ruiz shooting a right hand there.
No one has been able to connect with anything but a jab at this point in time in the fight.
If you were managing Johnson, would you have asked the commission to make Ruiz shave his beard?
No, I don't think it's that big a factor, to be honest with you.
I agree. Right hand shot by Ruiz.
I think that Johnson caught it and parried it in the gloves. I'm not sure. And once again, he's throwing the left hook to the body, but the way that Ruiz bends his body and pushes his elbow down, it forces the punch to go below the belt.
Stop. Let him go. Let him out clean.
Ruiz had briefly predicted a 4th round knockout for himself in the fight. Not a lot of people took that one seriously since the spectacular quick knockout.
There we go again, the same thing.
Yep.
It's going to continually happen.
And it's going to be another point deduction against Johnson.
The only thing Johnson can do is quit punching at his body because he's not trying to hit him low. He's starting to punch at the body, but the way Ruiz drops his elbow and bends over, he forces him to hit him low.
All the time.
He's leaving sort of left uppercut at his chin and forget about the body.
Well, maybe I'm wrong about the point deduction.
That's a strong warning, you understand?
Strong warning. No apparent point deduction here. Okay, so Johnson, who lost a point earlier, doesn't lose a point here, which suggests to us that Cortez is aware of the pulling down problem.
Well, and also I don't think Cortez wants to see what are accidental low blows determine the outcome of the fight. But obviously, if they continue, it will be a serious issue.
And I didn't see that he actually pulled Johnson's head down also at the same time, which forced a blow.
Here's another look. Pull, hit. That may be the reason Cortez did not elect to take another point from Kirk. Now, Ruiz acting more and more as though a grudge match is developing here. And he throws Johnson into the ropes and tries to butt him with his head. And hits him on the break. And now let's see what Cortez will do about all that.
He did butt him.
That was a deliberate butt.
Let's go. Go ahead, come here.
If Ruiz wanted to answer him, it should have been below the belt, not above the neck.
All right, come on.
All right, how much time in the round? Hard to say. That's it, nothing.
Stay up for a while. Stay up a couple rounds, okay? You beat his ass, Kirk. Stay up. Don't stay around. You did. Stay under control. Stay under control now. Don't get carried away like him. He's mad in the mother. That's all we want.
He's mad. And work with his foot. Work with it.
The referee, Joe Cortez, apparently did not see the headbutt. Take a look and see what happened here.
Ruiz is very enraged right here. He's very upset.
Right there.
The referee was on the other side where he couldn't see it.
Well, we know they want to fight. We know they're intense. Now we'd like to see a real fight happen.
Yeah, there were only 53 punches thrown between the two fighters in round 4 as they spent the bulk of the round grappling, fouling, arguing, waiting. Now Johnson lands a clean left hook and an uppercut. We asked Johnson's trainer, Curtis Coates, yesterday what strategy Kirk Johnson would use to try to get Ruiz out of the crab-like guard that makes him hard to hit with power shots. And Coates said, uppercut with both hands, bring his head up and get it up in the open.
It's not that easy. Really, one of the best moves that Johnson can do is what he's using now, a stiff jab, up jab as we call it. Stepping it over there, and whenever he comes in, move off in a circle. Don't go straight back.
If you were training Johnson, how would you tell him to avoid low blows at this point?
Not to throw any body punches at all. To throw mainly jab, and left hooks to the head, because the way that Ruiz comes in, you're going to always hit him with low blows.
Curtis Coates seemed to be saying to Johnson between rounds, you can win the fight easily upstairs with your jab. Just stay away from throwing body punches. Don't go low.
Good advice.
Once again, you see Johnson's foot movement.
Which could be a big factor if he uses it more, because he's much more fluid on his feet as compared to Ruiz, who's more straightforward, got that little up and down like jig, up and down jig, up and down jig, and then he walks at you.
Takes conditioning to keep using it. Some question the real legitimacy of Johnson's conditioning, because he's been known to put on a lot of weight between fights.
And he hasn't fought in a year.
Since his rough 12-round nondescript battle with Larry Donald at Coney Island last summer, won by Johnson.
The Ruiz doesn't put any fast pressure on him. He more goes up and down with his rhythm. So therefore, Johnson could easily outbox him and stay a step ahead of him with his footwork, as compared to a fighter who would put a lot of pressure fast.
This has been an excellent round for Kirk Johnson as he separated himself from Ruiz again, gone back to boxing from a distance, using his foot movement and greater hand speed to control Ruiz from space. Ruiz momentarily got a chance to put him in a phone booth. Couldn't do it.
Remember, Ruiz is not being hit a lot, even though Johnson is winning the round, so he still have to be careful not burning himself out. Fighting a very good fight at this point in time. Place in your punches. You're not going to hit Ruiz with 3 or 4 punches ever. 1 or 2 and get away just to get the points.
You know, but Ruiz, like Larry Donald, is reluctant to throw his right hand.
Yes.
Looks good. Looks good. All right, John. He's running out of gas. You got to pick it up on him now. Got to pick it up.
On angles and use your head. On angles and use your head. You got to keep your hands up all the time, kid.
It's been a rough affair. John Ruiz has at times seemed intent on trying to intimidate Kirk Johnson. Kirk Johnson, amid the grappling, has found himself penalized for low blows. The penalty was in round 1 when a point was deducted from Johnson. Then, moments ago in the 4th round, as you just saw, there was another delay as Ruiz was given a chance to recover from another low blow on which Johnson connected, and immediately following, Ruiz tried some roughhousing, throwing Johnson into the ropes and butting him on the face with his head. In round 5, Ruiz landed 4 of only 18 punches. Johnson 9 out of 39. Pace has slowed. Punches are coming one at a time.
Bring out.
There's a tentative right hand lead by Ruiz, who in the last round seemed only to throw left hand punches.
Mark, please.
That was a right hand attempt by Ruiz, one of the few and rare ones.
Concerted effort. Is the reluctance to throw right hands against Johnson because of Johnson's hand speed and the fear that he can counter with the left hook?
Yeah, and also I think he's had such, he's no success at with all landing right hand. He's reluctant about throwing them. But he should throw him more because he may land them. At least he's not being countered. It's not like if he throws a right hand, he's getting countered with a counter punch. He may miss, but that's about all.
Good body shots by Ruiz. 1, 2, 3, 4 of them in a row. You saw Johnson flinch on the second body shot. And there's a stinging right hand to the ribs by Johnson. Johnson trying to sweep the right cross. Ruiz blocked it with his left hand.
It looks as if he's shooting the straight right hand to the body to try to set him up and then shoot a right hand over top.
Got to put those punches together, though.
Yeah.
20 seconds apart doesn't create the same effect.
Nobody's putting combinations together, and I don't think you're going to see it in this fight here. Best punch for Johnson right now would be his jab from down below and a left hook off of the jab.
Nondescript round.
You got that be close, Kirk. They're close. We got to dominate now. We got to dominate. We got to dominate.
Baby, you gotta get that. I gotta work, sir.
Say, listen.
Well, you in my way.
Say, listen, Kirk. You got to pick it up now. You got to pick it up, baby. Come on. And you get
Hands up, keep your knees bent when you're walking in and go right through them. Jab first, that's all you gotta do, baby. I told you about his shoulders and his arm. You gotta punch him in the shoulder, punch him in the arm. Keep that busy, just keep busy. Keep banging this kid. And leave these rounds.
Angles,
Pick it up a
champ,
little more.
angles.
A little more, right? But not stupid, be smart. Hands here, knees down, be smart. Come on, come on, come on, come on.
Round 7 of a scheduled 12. Kirk Johnson against John Ruiz. Only 18 punches landed in the 6th round. And it has been a slow-paced fight. Harold Letterman, how do you have it through 6?
Okay, Jim. 4-1 and 1 even. 58-55. Kirk Johnson. Jim.
Work 50 behind the head, understand? Let's go, time in.
You heard Joe Cortez, the referee, saying to each fighter, you got a problem? You got a problem? Let's have a fight.
All right, bring up.
A lot of work for Joe tonight. So Harold Letterman with Kirk Johnson ahead by 3 points at the halfway mark of the fight. You heard Curtis Cokes telling his fighter, you got to dominate. Don't make these rounds so close. Don't allow them to be so close. 3 respected Nevada judges at ringside tonight. Patricia Jarming Manning, Dave Moretti, Jerry Roth.
Clean round, give me a clean fight, guys.
Here's another low blow. And once again, Ruiz goes down. It's the 3rd time he's been on the canvas as a result of a low blow.
1 point. Low blow.
2nd point deduction against Johnson.
1 more, you're gonna be disqualified.
And you heard that. 1 more, and he'll be disqualified, according to Cortez.
I don't know if Johnson can control himself. I would not throw any body punches, not even a straight right hand.
Well, the obvious precedent, Andrew Galata against Riddick Bowe, both in Madison Square Garden and then later in Atlantic City. Here's another look.
Once again, he's...
1 more time, I'm gonna disqualify this guy.
So his elbow forces the blows to go low.
Well, and he's crouching down.
Yes.
It doesn't excuse the low blows. Johnson has to show more discipline. But Ruiz is partly to blame. This kind of roughhousing fight, the only drama has been Ruiz on the floor, hurt from low blows. And Ruiz counterpunching with a deliberate, but he seems to be in some real agony now.
Come on, Ruiz. Ruiz, you got time.
In fact, he gets a full 5 minutes, and if Cortez wants to tell him something useful, maybe he should tell him that only 2 minutes have passed and he still has 3 more remaining.
And also remind him that he cannot win this fight at this stage, at least to my belief, on a low blow disqualification.
Harold, what happens if the fight can't continue at this point?
Jim, John Ruiz cannot win on that low blow. If he doesn't continue after 5 minutes, he loses by abandonment.
Regardless of what's on the scorecards.
Right. It's an accidental low blow. He can take up to 5 minutes to recuperate. After that, he's got to continue.
So even if the judges were to have Ruiz ahead at this point, he must keep fighting in order to preserve his chance to win.
Correct. You don't go to the scorecards.
Now the danger is they've given Johnson a warning that if he lands another low blow, he will be disqualified.
You know, right now during this 5-minute break, there's been about as much action as there was while they were fighting, to tell you the truth.
Especially when you look over to see the commissioner, the promoters, and everyone congregating trying to decide what is the legal rights.
I'm looking at Al Bisek's stopwatch, and I can tell you that as of right now, there are 1 minute 50 seconds remaining in the rest period for Ruiz. Joe Cortez is checking now, and they'll tell him it's about 1 minute and 40 left to go. Don't know if Joe's going to go tell John Ruiz. Yeah, it looks though he will.
We got a minute to go. What the hell's going on with them? Already 2 points. Already took points. Walk around, you still got a minute.
Even if Ruiz can't go on, this is really no way a man should lose his title.
You still got time.
Or any fight for that matter.
You got 1 minute
Now he's
left.
got a minute.
You got 1 minute left. You want to go now? Come on. You want to go? What the hell? Okay, time in. Time in.
So Ruiz says he's ready to fight. 1 minute, 52 seconds remaining in round 7 of a scheduled 12.
Come on, let's go. Come on, let's go.
Cortez looking for the fight fire with fire response. Ruiz took 4 minutes and 6 seconds of his allotted 5 minutes to recover from his third trip to the canvas on a low blow. He lands a left hook.
Ruiz throws a punch and clinches you. Throws a punch and clinches. It makes it very difficult to get any sustained action, any steady flow.
Johnson facing disqualification if he lands another low blow. Now must be somewhat more hesitant.
All right, break out clean. Let's go.
We'll see if Johnson is any smarter than Andrew Galata at this point. Galata famously beating Riddick's bow twice and yet unable to hold back the low blows even when his corner was saying don't throw anything low. Don't throw anything below the chest.
It's very difficult sometimes for a fighter because that's an instinctive thing, especially when you fight a guy like Ruiz. The only punch you can hit him with is usually a left uppercut because he bends his body over to his right and he runs at you with his body bending down like that.
Ruiz has landed a couple of clean shots upstairs since resuming the action in this round. Seems somewhat unsure as to exactly how to attack at this point.
Yeah, he's really nervous now. You can see that. And it's definitely altered his attack.
All right, let's take a look at some of the unfortunate events of the fight so far. Round 1, Ruiz hit low by Kirk Johnson. This was the first time Ruiz went to the canvas and took a couple minutes to recover. Round 4, another shot in the lower body. And the angry response from Ruiz, who threw Johnson into the ropes and headbutted him right in front of referee Joe Cortez. Round 7. Rabbit punches from both fighters here. Boom, boom, boom. That's when Cortez stepped in and pulled him apart and said, do you guys really want to fight or not? Then another low blow from Kirk Johnson. That's the one that's placed him in danger of being disqualified.
You know, I'd like to see another picture of that last low blow. It looked like a legal blow, but I could be mistaken.
All right, let's see how the truck responds to that as round 8 of a scheduled 12 arrives. Johnson has had 2 points deducted for low blows, and now, as you see, at least on Letterman's card, the fight gets much closer. Because Johnson seemed tentative after the resumption of action with nearly 2 minutes to go in the round, didn't do much the remainder of the round, and probably the case can be made that Ruiz won it.
You know, from what I saw in the replay, I didn't see that much of a real dangerous low blow. It seemed to be more to the side. Maybe I saw something different, but to me, I think a big part maybe Ruiz is active to a certain degree.
Up, Johnson just landed one on the
that was on the top. That was on the top.
Let's go.
It was close, and Johnson alertly almost pulled the punch at the end. He realized where it was going. Johnson getting reckless now as he seems to want to try to knock Ruiz out and rescue himself from the danger of disqualification.
Well, that's exactly what happened with Evander, and then Ruiz threw a right hand right out of the blue and hit Evander right on the chin, because you're at a certain stage, Ruiz starts getting to the point where it looked like he's about to cry, and that's when he's very dangerous in, because you don't expect him to punch.
Break out clean, step back clean.
As the pace slows, Ruiz's chances go up.
Bring out, bring out. Bring out.
Johnson lands 3 upshoot jabs and slips away from the right hand by Ruiz.
All right, stop, stop. Hold. Let's go. Right behind the head, let's go.
Blood trickling from John Ruiz's nose now.
Let's go. All right, the punch behind the head, let's go.
That's the nose that Ruiz had surgically repaired following his 3rd bout with Evander Holyfield. In fact, his manager, Norman Stone, blamed some of his performance in the Holyfield fight on blood dripping into his lungs and windpipe from the crushed nose.
John Ruiz needs to just start fighting period. He's not doing anything for the most part.
Johnson, with activity and movement, seems to have won the round.
Oh, stop, stop.
Despite his apparent tentativeness as he faces the danger of disqualification.
Safe to say this fight is not going to be shown at the Museum of Modern Art.
Make him like too fucking close. You hear me? Don't do anything foolish, but you gotta move on angles in this guy, Johnny. Gotta get, you gotta. You hear me? Yep. You gotta move on angles.
Come on, Johnny. You're gonna have to fight here for yourself. Not necessary. Not necessary now.
Come on, man. You all right? Shit. We got to come on. We got to take this thing. He ain't gonna give it to us. Okay? Okay. We got to take it. I need you to get close to him. That jab is going fine.
Let's take a look at the last called low blow. You tell us whether it was a low blow or not.
No, that's not.
That is not a low blow.
It seems to me that Ruiz is more looking to try to win the fight rather than to beat Johnson.
Guys, why is it not a low blow? It was below the belt. Why is it not?
It was not below the belt. It was on the border. It was a clean punch, Jim, in my judgment.
Punches in round 8. According to CompuBox, Ruiz only threw 11, landed only 3. Johnson 13 out of 4, 44. Not a high efficiency rate, but seemingly the clear winner of the round. Johnson throwing his jab with authority now. If you're going to rely on your jab to try to win the fight, let it go, babe. And he's doing it.
All he has to do is just stick to his jab. In the case they throw a hook off of that, I would not throw any uppercuts at him. He didn't get hit there. He grazed, he shot grazed him.
He rolled with that right hand, and the crowd gave Ruiz a much greater response than he deserved because Johnson turned it into a glancing blow.
Ruiz has a good left jab himself. I'm wondering why he's not jabbing anymore.
He landed it frequently in the early rounds.
Very good jab.
Hasn't seemed to want to throw it as much recently. Probably because Johnson's side-to-side movement prevents Ruiz from launching the jab.
There he threw a jab there and he landed.
Now Johnson is able to sidestep the jab. Johnson feinting and jabbing on his own. Ruiz does have head movement. That's one of the reasons you wind up throwing to his body. Johnson's just going to have to live with that from here on in.
Yeah, that was a good move on Johnson's part there, to move off to the right a little bit. But Ruiz need to come back and try it again. He's just waiting too much.
If Ruiz doesn't throw his jab, and he only threw one in the first minute and a half of this round, then the space is clear and open for Johnson to do what he wants. There's a body shot from Ruiz, and And a pretty good tackle, followed by a tackle back.
No, there was a right hand in there that stung Johnson.
Yep, and the referee didn't catch it. Good right hand.
And now Johnson tries to hold, and Ruiz tries to follow. Johnson happy to hear the sticks.
Good move on Johnson's part.
Goes down on a punch to the back of the head after the bell. No count. Now to knockdown. Ruiz's corner going berserk. Ironically, it was Johnson's corner which filed complaints about referee Joe Cortez, at least suggesting that they were worried about Cortez. There's the shot that Larry Merchant talked about. Stinging right hand.
Beautiful counter right hand. And you know, if Johnson can come back and make a good fight out of this, and that isn't scored as a knockdown, it could be very interesting when the final scoring comes in.
Well, Ruiz already has benefited from 2-point deductions against Johnson.
Yes, right.
If he had gotten a knockdown point there, then who knows where the scorecards would be. Yep. Ruiz believes he still has an advantage and wants to press it. Harold, very quickly, how do you have it through 9?
Okay, Jim, real close. 85, 84, 5-3, 1 even. Kirk Johnson. He just won enough of those rounds, 4, 5, and 6, and then he had a good round in the 8th to hold on to a 1-point lead, but it's real close.
Ruiz to let his right hand go again, whether he misses or not, because he doesn't get hit when he throws it. He should let it go. He needed to go all out right now.
Particularly with Johnson hampered by the potential of a disqualification, unable to throw body shots. Ruiz, it seems, would have little to stop him from throwing a lot of punches at this point. But now Johnson gets to reestablish himself.
Johnson is watching Ruiz's right hand. The right hand that Ruiz landed wasn't really a lead right hand. It was more of a counter right hand.
Ruiz's corner probably believes that their man should have gotten credit for 2 knockdowns in that last round.
Yes, and that could be a very big factor if Johnson can come back in this fight and doesn't get knocked out.
Be interesting to look at a replay at some point and see if in fact the knockdown at the end of the round was after the bell, as I said it was. I think it was pretty clear. Now Johnson seems to be getting his wits back and his legs. Didn't have him at the end of the last round, that's for sure. Body shot by Johnson, a little bit of a risk, but he got it in.
Yep, right hand body shot.
John Ruiz is a hard guy.
Very difficult to fight, and he just springs out of nowhere sometimes when you least expect.
Oh my God.
That was on the top.
That's a disqualification, and Ruiz is going to be the winner in the fight.
That's what he was looking for anyway. And that was on the top of the cup.
A fitting conclusion to a horrible fight.
John Ruiz benefits from Kirk Johnson's inability to keep his punches up down the stretch. In the preceding round, he threw no body punches. Here, whether his mind drifted or whether he felt the necessity of going back to the body to stop Ruiz's assault, he went back to throwing body blows and didn't get away with it.
That was the instinctive thing with a fighter, to throw the left hook to the body. Maybe I'm wrong. I saw it on the top of the cup. That was instinctive.
And once again, that punch was pretty much in the same place as the one that you guys felt was not previously a low blow.
I thought that was a little bit low as compared to the other one, but it's irrelevant. It's academic.
Yep, it's the third one.
And we have just had a conclusion that makes me feel I'm glad the fight is over, whatever happened.
Do you suppose now that Ruiz and manager Norman Stone will say in the post-fight interview that they've earned a shot at Lennox Lewis?
I'm sure that they'll say they've earned a shot at Muhammad Ali.
A disappointing end to a rough, unusual fight. Disappointing in the sense that it is not competition, but rather disqualification, which produces Ruiz's victory and the first loss of Kirk Johnson's career. And now let's go to Jimmy Lennon Jr. for the official particulars.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have the time of 2 minutes, 17 seconds in round number 10. After repeated penalties and warnings for low blows, our referee in charge, Joe Cortez, stops the contest. The winner by way of disqualification, and still the WBA heavyweight champion of the world, John the Quiet Man Ruiz.
It will be fascinating at some point to see what the official scorecards held in store for us down the stretch. See what the suspense might have been like in the closing rounds. Final CompuBox numbers from a slow-paced fight. Ruiz, 96 out of a total of 204 punches thrown. And Johnson landing only 4 more, although throwing 182 more. Jabs, Kirk Johnson landing more and throwing more than twice as many. For much of the fight, Johnson seemed to be controlling the distance between himself and Ruiz with the jab. And now Larry Merchant has made his way into the ring for the aftermath, and let's go to Merchant with John Ruiz.
Thank you, Jim. Congratulations, John. Why was it such a foul-filled fight?
I don't know. You know what I mean? I was fighting clean all the time. You know what I mean? It seemed like he just wanted to get a couple of times rest, so he hit me down below. So, it's just something that I had to catch my breath each time he hit me low. You know what I mean? It threw me off the game plan.
What was the game plan?
Like always, throw more jabs, work around, and then, as soon as I got started, that's when he hit me low, and then that was the problem. You know what I mean? I don't know what, I still want to have kids, you know what I mean? So I don't know what was going on through his head.
You retaliated with what looked like a deliberate butt at one time. Was that just instinctive? Were you afraid that you might get penalized for it?
I was just pissed off, you know what I mean? I'm tired of this, you know what I mean? He was hitting me down low all through the fight. You know what I mean? There's so much I could take, you know what I mean? And out of frustration, I did that, but that I just lost my head there for a few seconds, but I managed to retain myself. I just want to go out there and keep fighting, you know what I mean? I want to take on that girl, Lennox Lewis, and, improve who's the real heavyweight champion.
Right. Did you think there was a knockdown at the end of the 9th round? What is your recollection of that?
I caught him with a good right hand, and that's when I felt him kind of hold me. I was just trying to let him loose, trying to push him off me, and he couldn't keep his balance. So, as soon as I moved out of the way, he just fell down.
All right, you've called out that you want to fight Lennox Lewis, but Evander Holyfield is now the mandatory challenger for you. Are we looking at the possibility of a 4th fight?
That I'm not sure. You got to talk to my man Don King right here for that, But my man goes to unify the titles because I want to fight Lennox Lewis so bad. I just want to prove to the world who has the real belt.
Thank you very much, John Ruiz. Jim, back to you.
All right, let's take a look at judges' scorecards to that point in the fight, and you will see that partially as the result of the 2 points deducted against Johnson to that point for earlier low blows, John Ruiz led the fight on all 3 scorecards. Ruiz ahead by 1 point through 9 rounds on the scorecards of Jarman, Manning, and Roth, and ahead by 3 points on Moretti's scorecard. So he was in the driver's seat going down the stretch of the fight. Let's go back to Larry Merchant with the loser by DQ, Kirk Johnson.
All right, Kirk, let me ask you the same question I asked John Ruiz. Why was this such a foul-filled fight?
Well, you know, it was a lot of emotion in the fight. I wanted to do really good, even though I said I didn't want to impress nobody. I wanted to be very impressive, and you know, maybe fight Lennox Lewis or what have you. But you know, like I told you in the interview, whenever you try to impress people, that's when you don't impress them.
Is there something about his style that caused you to continually hit low or nearly low?
Well, you know, excuse me. Hey. Well, you know, he crouched under. He's always crouching under, so I figure if I duck under and try to come up, I can catch him in the middle. But a couple times, it strayed low, and a couple times it was borderline. The referee saw it the way he saw it, so you know, those are the facts of life.
All right, the referee warned you that one more and he was going to disqualify you.
Yes, he did.
Why would you even throw a punch near there?
Well, you know, I started boxing pretty good, and I started to feel really good, and his nose started bleeding. So I said, you know, well, this here time, if he throws a shot, I'm going to duck under and bring it up a little higher. But unfortunately, it went on the borderline, and the referee called it the way he called it.
All right.
My fault. I shouldn't have threw the last blow, but that's the way it goes sometimes.
All right, let's take a look at it on the tape, and you describe what you saw and why you delivered the punch when you did.
He's crouching down low, so I figured I can catch him right in the solar plex. It was on the borderline, but you know, if the referee called it low, the referee called it low. You know, when he crouched under, I tried to catch him right there, but he stood up too quick, and I caught him right on the cup right there. And the referee called it the way he wanted to call it. I'm not going to say that the referee was 100% wrong because it was on the borderline, but you know, I'll be back, and he's a good fighter. Like I said before I fought him, I gave him all respect. Whether I beat him or not, I was going to give him respect regardless.
Thank you very much, Kirk Johnson.
Thank you very much.
These final thoughts. I once covered a World Series game between the Yankees and the Giants. And the big story was Mickey Mantle versus Willie Mays. And Mickey Mantle told a story after one of the games. They were both having a bad series. He said that a fan in the bleachers was yelling at him. And Mickey Mantle went like this: "Yo, Mick, we came to see which one of you guys is the best." And Mantle laughed as he told the story and then continued in the fan's voice, "And now we're trying to decide which one of yous is the worst." That's how I feel about the fight we just saw. Jim?